Hi everyone, my name is Morgan Pike. My field-based project was on building empathy in the classroom. So the current school that I am working in is a public inner-city school just outside of Boston. It's made up of 469 students from grades K through 5. The school itself is predominantly white. There's 60.8% of students are white that attend this school, but they do have representation in most other races and ethnicities, and have various representation in the selected populations at the school, including students whose first language is not English, English language learners, students with disabilities, high needs, and low income. The specific classroom that I am in is a second grade classroom where I'm the long-term sub. The class demographic is pretty diverse, so 37.7 are white, 18.2% of students are multi-race or non-Hispanic, 6.3 are African American, 6.3% are Asian, and 31.5% are Hispanic. So the current social emotional learning implementation strategies are the following. So the first one is mindfulness. So many of the teachers use mindfulness strategies to reset their classes, whether it's, in the beginning of the day when they walk through the door, or when they're coming back from lunch and recess, or coming back from a special, something like that. They use when they feel that their students kind of need a second to take a deep breath, focus on themselves, and recenter them. Another example is the school community expectations. So each year, at the beginning of the school year, the teachers work with their students to create a list of expectations that they are all supposed to follow throughout the school year. So this includes expectations for the teacher and for the students. The last one is various sources of representation in digital media and literature. So many of the teachers use books or videos that exhibit qualities that are a reflection of the students in their class. So I've seen teachers use books that embrace gender, racial, ethnic, or socioeconomic diversity in different settings, and this allows the students to be able to connect with the information that they're being taught, and further provides a better opportunity for them to be able to connect and form a positive relationship with their teachers. So the specific focus area that I did my field-based project on was social awareness. This is defined as the abilities to understand the perspectives of and empathize with others, including those from diverse backgrounds, cultures, and contexts. I specifically chose to look at building empathy because actually, this is my first year working in an elementary school. Most of the time I'm with high school or middle school students, so I thought it would be beneficial for me to learn how to better support students in learning how to build empathy, and also I think it is important, especially for their age, to be able to learn how to do this because they're still building knowledge and skill sets to be able to build their social skills and learn how to care for others. And I just thought that this was a good topic to do, especially for the grade that I'm teaching in. So after researching prior solutions for building empathy in the classroom, I found 3 different things. So the first one was role playing. So this specifically looked at students being given tasks, or not tasks, but they were given prompts to answer and kind of come up with a scenario on how they were going to, almost like a skit, how they were going to act it out. And sometimes they were given either sort of like a bullying situation, so they were given either the role of the bully or the one being bullied, and roles had to be reversed, so they were able to kind of feel how it felt to be the one enforcing the bullying, but also then to feel how it felt to be bullied. And this just helped them to learn how to regulate their emotions when things kind of got intense and a lot for them, and how they could slow down what they were they were doing and their actions, and think about it in a more empathetic way. And it helped them to be able to understand what their classmates may be going through based on either actions that they are doing towards them or something someone else might be doing that can cause a reason for them to need to be empathetic for their peers. The second one was project tasks. So this involved everyone being in small groups, and each group member was given a job or a role that was specific to a scenario, and the only way for the scenario to be properly completed was for everyone to have completed their part. So it was important to show how each group member had to listen to each other, and they also had to put their own input in. So there was kind of two things to look at with this. A lot of the time, students just kind of want to say what's ever on their mind, and they don't listen to what other people are saying. So this specific idea really forced them to listen to one another, but also to provide a space where they were able to share what they were thinking, and further helped them to be able to understand the importance of listening and the importance of being able to work together, and that everyone has to be able to work together in order to achieve something. The last one was a real life connection. So this was using an example of someone who you have like a direct connection with. So whether this is bringing in a special guest to the classroom that is there to talk about something that they may have been through or something that they are a part of, allows students to build a real life connection, and it creates more of a personal understanding for them because it feels real to them since they're right there. So this helps to build empathy because they are able to understand the emotions and things that people have gone through because they're firsthand right there. So after explaining to my colleagues what I was planning on doing for this project, I was given a lot of feedback on Open Circle. So I haven't got to the plan of action yet, obviously, but Open Circle is something that can be challenging for classrooms, and the feedback I got was just to make sure that students are given prompting questions, because otherwise the conversation doesn't really go anywhere, or it can completely deviate from what you want to be talking about. So prompting questions and reminding them to be able to stay on task of what they're supposed to be talking about, and giving them direct instruction of what is being asked of them. Second thing was being prepared for students who do not want to share. This happens quite frequently because they get nervous. So that was another piece of feedback. And then specific for just the project in general, I had everything kind of squished into one day, and after receiving feedback, I realized and agreed that it was way too much to do in one day, especially for a second grade classroom. So I broke it up, and I also implemented reflections into each of the activities so that the students had an opportunity to be able to reflect on what they did and what they learned about each other. So for the plan of action, I did break it up into 3 different days. So day 1, students were asked to create an All About Me poster, so they had a couple days to do this. It was assigned 2 days before it needed to be brought in. So they could include things in pictures, words, whatever they wanted that represented themselves. So it could be their name, cultural identity, family, favorite foods, who they live with, anything like that. So they were asked to do that and then bring them in. And then when they brought them in, they taped them to the front of their desks and did a museum walk. So they walked around and they looked at each other's and were asked to kind of take notes on what they saw and maybe what they learned from one another, because some of the stuff that was on these All About Me posters were things that people did not know about. So after doing that, we did an open circle, so I had everybody come together and we formed a circle with our chairs, and I explained what this was and we began to create an identity pyramid together. So what we did is we had this pyramid that included 3 different sections. So the first section was sorry, was something that they noticed all of their peers shared. The second was something that they felt was unique to them. And then things that they thought were universal was the other one. So not even just their classmates, but everybody in the world that they maybe shared. So they did that, and then we did 2 prompts for the open circle. So I asked them how they were doing. That section right there at the top was the first one we asked. So we all went around and shared. And then the second one, I had them go around and share any layer of the pyramid that they wanted to share that they wrote about themselves. So we used everyone's individual ideas on their identity pyramid to then create a full class group identity pyramid. And then at the end of the activity, we did an independent written reflection, which asked the students to reflect on how they felt when looking at others' identity pyramids and if they found things they could relate to and not relate to. So the second day, we opened with an open circle, and we had them take their identity pyramids out, and as a class, we started off with the question, how does it feel to look at the pyramid that shows the characteristics you do and do not share with others? And then the second one was, what are some different ways that you found where you did not relate to your classmates' characteristics? How did that make you feel? So we did that, we went around, got some feedback, and then I asked them to form small groups and do a written reflection that asked, why do you think it is important to learn these traits about ourselves and our classmates? Give 3 reasons why. And then that ended day 2. The last day, we opened again with a small circle, but we did small groups instead. So instead of doing one big open circle, we did smaller groups and asked the following questions. And this one, the first question for the small group was really kind of diving into empathy and like how others feel when you do and do not relate to one another. They ended with an individual reflection here, just kind of to sum up how they felt about the activity and what it exactly brought about, what thinking came about when they were reflecting on how it feels to learn about themselves and other people based on different traits that they have. So the results, I was happy with the results. I thought that it went well. Definitely was important that I broke the activities up into days and included those reflections because I felt like the students got more out of the activity by doing this. What I did not think went well was that I didn't really give any type of model in terms of the identity pyramid or identifying certain characteristics. I definitely looked over the fact of their age and kind of what they can come up with sometimes, and sometimes what can be challenging. So I think next time I'll just create more models for the students so that they can have easier access to finding the information that they need. So overall, I thought that this activity helped students to be able to gather a deeper understanding of themselves and their peers, which further helps them to learn how to be able to better support one another in the classroom. There are cultural norms that affect many aspects of the students' lives, and without knowing about these or being able to openly talk with them about them with people is something that does and doesn't happen in the classroom. So I thought that this activity kind of brought up a time for students to be able to learn these things about one another that they may not have ever known. But moving forward, like I said, I would be providing a more structured approach with models and examples for the students to use. So that is all. Thank you guys for listening, and I can't wait to listen to the rest of your presentations. Thank you.